Hey folks, in this video, what we're going to look at is how you can tell when certain things were created in SQL Server, in this particular example, tables. But then we're also going to look at a special report that SQL Server has that will really enhance your information on the subject. We're going to go through this fairly quickly. But first of all, if you notice, I have this table employee info. But look at all these other versions of this. Let's say that you're in there on the weekend and everybody else is home, nobody's working, and you're trying to make heads or tails of, Jim did something, Rakesh did something, or somebody did something in their behalf. Here's a backup of the table. Okay, somebody backed it up. We have no idea when. Here, at least we know somebody probably backed it up on 11/29, or I just named it that for this demo, haha. Here's a temp. That's not very helpful. Here's the infamous table name +1 or table name +2, the least helpful of any naming thing. It should be the most helpful, but in real life, it never is. All I want to do is find out when were these created. I can't really find out from the query I'm going to show you when they were altered, or something was changed on them, but I can at least find out really quickly when they were created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two fields, name and CR date, which is create date from sysObjects. That's a system table. It tracks basically every database object when it was created and a whole bunch of other metadata about those objects that for this demo we don't really care about. And then I'm going to say where the X type, where the X type, that just happened. Okay, sorry. See, but, bad things happen in real life. Where X type equals U. Now, you would think that for a table, the X type would be T, but it doesn't work that way because there's different types of tables. There's system tables, unlike sysObjects, where the X type is an S. But then there's user tables, like all these versions of employee info, created by a user, or somebody pretending to be a user, a human. That's why they're U. U is for user table. Hey, I didn't name it. And then we're ordering by 2 descending. And since the second field we're using an ordinal, not always a good idea. So the CR date, we're going to get the newest ones first. So it's really simple. So we hit this, we go through, and look, there's all the tables. Notice here it puts them in the system, it puts them in alphabetical order, like in the tree node, in the tables node. It just does that because it does it. The only way to sort them differently is to give them different schemas, but that's really kind of overkill. So here it looks like Rakesh made the last one. Jim made the one before that. This is totally useless. You notice these are all similar dates. That's just because I was monkeying around right before I did this video. So it's kind of like, but generally speaking in real life, this could give you a really good idea. Usually these tables would be days, hours or days or weeks apart in their creation. But at least I can tell, oh, okay, the one, underscore Rakesh was the most recent, and this underscore temp is the oldest, which is kind of bizarre. Possibly this was the original table and then it got renamed. But anyway, as you look at this, you might be thinking, hey, Jim and Rakesh, they did some interesting stuff. What's going on? But that's how you tell when this stuff was created. But see, that's still not really super helpful because we don't know when anything was changed. Not really. But there's this really cool thing that this really cool report. There's a bunch of really cool reports, but this one really cool report that you can use in SQL Server is this. What you do, you go to the database name, and by the way, that's not LAF for laugh, that's Learn Analytical Functions, or Los Angeles Football. No, I'm just kidding. If I click on that, if I right-click on it, I've got this thing that says reports. And by the way, you should spend some time with this when you have some time just to see what this stuff does. I'm just going to go to standard reports, and then I'm going to go down to Schema Changes History. Retrieving data, and it doesn't take long, but now don't forget, I don't have a lot of stuff in this system, and I don't do a whole lot with it. If you're doing this on a live system with hundreds of tables and a lot of people doing stuff, but look at this. So it comes back, and it has all these changes. These are all user-defined tables, da 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 da. And there's this little plus that I'm going to hit on these. And if this is a really cool report, okay? Um, and if you look here, so what it's saying is, notice here, like, we have a create and an alter down here. I actually created these today while I was doing stuff. But if you notice, the username is Mertman, okay? For employee info. Oh, actually, it was originally called employee info Y, and then it got changed. Employee info X, and then it got changed. See this one that says Rakesh? Well, Mertman created that. So Rakesh had nothing to do with it. See, I'm actually logged in as Mertman. That's who I am. Okay. And then over here, Jim, employee underscore Jim. Well, somebody's trying to frame him because the user is Mertman. And this back, so basically Mertman made all of these because in real life I did because I'm just doing a demo. Another interesting thing is the table got created here. And well, this is a better example for employee info X. You don't see it here because it got renamed. But in any event, the table got created and then it got altered at the same exact time. Any idea why that happened? Well, if we go to it, and I don't know which one this is called now. It's probably one of these. Let's just pretend it's this one. Design. Dun dun dun. Status. Here we go. See how the status has a default value? A, like status A, that probably means active or something like that. What happened is I used a script, and when I scripted this table, it created the table, and then it created the default constraint right after it. So that's why, well, this one, it's off by a few seconds because I was goofing around and I had the wrong name, and then I had to rerun it. But this one here, I ran the script, it created the table, but then it added the constraint immediately after it, which is completely fine. But so we have a create and we have an alter. But the cool thing about this by itself may not tell you everything you ever wanted to know about a table if you're trying to, audit somebody's system, but it will tell you who is logged in. This still doesn't tell you the human that did it, because if you're using SQL authentication, if you're using SQL authentication, gee, SA strikes again. But if you're using NT authentication, then at least you know who is logged into the system, allegedly. So you can do that. So between this, you can kind of track what was changed, when it was changed, and allegedly who changed it. And over here, you can at least see when the table was created. So when you put those two things together, it's not really a bad situation. So anyway, and remember, to get there, I went to the database. I right-clicked, went to reports, standard reports, and went down to Schema Changes History. But what you should do in your spare time is go ahead and play around with those and just kind of, see what different reports really resonate with you. There's a couple of really cool ones in there. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, please consider hitting the like button. And also, if you like other videos like this and it'll help you on the job or in your own projects, please consider subscribing. Thanks. Have a great day. Go make some money.